Hello YouTube. Here we have yet another unboxing. I got some things from Newegg from my mother, and you will see what they are. Of course, I bought her things from Newegg. So what do we have here? We have a Macally hard drive enclosure, which has eSATA, FireWire, and USB 2.0 on it for 3.5-inch hard drives. Trade and save this holiday. Okay. Packing slip, packing paper, and what do we have here? We have a Hitachi 1 terabyte hard drive, which I'll be putting into that enclosure for my mother. You see, what she's doing is that she's been taking classes on doing video work, and she also wants to start a business that involves video work. And she presently has a Mac Mini with a Core 2 Duo in it, and the hard drive, I believe, is 320 gigabytes, which is not enough for video work. So I decided, so some people get external hard drives that are pre-built, like the Western Digital MyBooks, for example, and in my opinion, those are garbage because they don't offer much flexibility. I mean, you can replace the drives in them, but it's such a hack. It feels like such a hack screw to do it, in my opinion. I think the best solution for an external hard drive for anybody, is to buy a hard drive yourself off of Newegg, then buy an enclosure. Now you can do this for 3.5 and 2.5-inch hard drives. So you don't. So for people that aren't familiar with enclosures too much, 3.5-inch hard drive enclosures typically have a separate power source, like you have to plug it into the wall. Whereas a 2.5-inch laptop hard drive enclosure, that's USB or whatever, typically runs off of USB, so you don't have to plug it into the wall. That's the main difference between using the two different sizes of hard drives. So let's show you the kit. So let's actually show the hard drive enclosure itself. Tells you what the front and back panel are. There you have it. And here we have some cables. So what do we get in here? We get an eSATA cable. We get a FireWire 400 cable. A FireWire 800 cable, which is probably what my mother is going to use. A mini USB to regular USB cable. The stand for the unit. Brackets of some kind? I don't know what these are. And of course, a wall wart power adapter. And you also get the enclosure itself, which, as you can see, it's fairly sized. The thing that attracts most people to this enclosure for Mac users is that it looks a bit like a Mac Pro, as you can see, or a G5. The only reason I bought this particular case is because of the connectors on the back. Look at all these. Power, USB, eSATA, FireWire 400, and 2 FireWire 800 ports. And the reason there are 2 FireWire 800 ports is because since FireWire reminds me of SCSI in a way. You can daisy chain things together with FireWire 800 and 400 for that matter. On older enclosures, you used to be able to find 2 FireWire 400 ports on there, and that was for the reason of daisy chaining. Pretty nifty in my opinion. Here's the front of the device. Power button. It looks an awful lot like a Mac, hence Macally. But I don't care about that. I care about the functionality, and the functionality in the back of here is awesome. Plus, the aluminum also helps to passively cool the hard drive. So, that's definitely a plus. The question is, do they include a screwdriver, or do I have to go get one? I bet I have to go get one, so go into my pocket here. Where are you? And pull out my trusty battery screwdriver. Unscrew this and take a look inside. Okay, so when you unscrew the back panel, it actually slides out the front like that. And there's all the hard drive circuitry in there. There you are, there's the circuit board. A couple of capacitors here, not much to it. Looks like you just slide a hard drive right in there. Yep. This is held together pretty well. Let's see what's on the bottom here. Oxford semiconductor chip. I'd assume that's a controller, I'm not sure. But either way. Okay, now that we have the hard drive enclosure unboxed, let's take the hard drive itself. Take it out of its box here. And there we are, a brand new 1 terabyte Hitachi hard drive. Of course, there's a tear thingy right here. And there you have it, a brand new Hitachi hard drive with SATA interface. Of course, this drive was not cheap, being at the height of the Thailand floods and everything. So, I presume the drive goes in like this. Kind of put the drive down in the hole there. So you get it tucked in there, and then you push up on the drive to get it snug into the connector there. And there you have it. And then, once you've managed to move these little wires out of the way, you mount the hard drive screws into the bottom here. And the hard drive is securely fastened in there with the included screws right here. There you have it. And then that should be as simple as sliding this thing back into the case. And screwing everything back in. And then there you have it. And you screw those 2 screws on the sides back in, and you should be good to go. Now, they give you 2 extra screws in the package. These little guys right here. And they are for these, which go here and here. Those attach to here. So you actually have some stability on the bottom there, which is really good. And now we have the rubber footers on the bottom. First you screw in the metal pieces, and then you take the rubber footers off their adhesive and stick them to the bottom of these, and there you have something that won't scratch your desk. And then here's the stand to keep it steady. And there you go, you can just sit it on your desk, or on the floor if you like. Just like that. Of course, the next step is to format it with whatever format you would like to use. If you're on Mac OS X, that's HFS+. If you're on Windows, that's more than likely NTFS. So, this is the Macally hard drive enclosure that I chose because of the connectivity on the back. Definitely helpful if you're on a Mac to have FireWire. You can get Thunderbolt adapters for FireWire as well. I definitely recommend these. These are very, very high quality metal. That's right, metal. You don't find much of that anymore. And there's a power button on the front too, which is nice. So, there you have it. We'll go format it. Only thing left to do is format it and use it. And this is and again, this is my way of giving someone an external hard drive, because not only is it serviceable very easily, but if you want to upgrade to a bigger drive, you don't have to buy a whole new thing. You can just put a new drive in here and it's still the same enclosure. And you can save the old drive and put it in another computer or something. But something like this, in my mind, is a much better idea than something like the Western Digital MyBook. This is much more user serviceable, and in my opinion, just looks better and is less cheap. This is just one example. I have another example. This is another example of a 3.5-inch hard drive enclosure that I personally would recommend to anybody. One of these Vantech Nexstar 3s. Now, these only have eSATA and USB 2.0, and they take an odd power connector, but I've seen that power connector on plenty of devices before. Power button as well. Plastic stand, which is kind of cheap. LED lights in the logo there. Nice thick metal, and there is a 1 terabyte Samsung hard drive in this enclosure. Now, these I do recommend, and the Macallys I also recommend. They are excellent enclosures if you want to make your own hard drive out of them, and they definitely can cool the drive properly, unless you have a Seagate, because some Seagates run extremely hot. In that case, you might want to get an external that has a cooling fan in it, and that would apply for any drive that tends to run hot. So read the reviews on the hard drives that you buy for sure. But that is the Macally case, and just an example of my solution for external hard drives. I think it's a much more flexible solution than just buying a MyBook that has its own special way of writing data to the disk. This is just like a raw reading USB drive. There's no encryption, no proprietary way of writing to the disk and reading from the disk, and nothing like that. It's just straight up normal, and that's the way I like it. So hope you enjoyed the video, and have a good one, everybody. Ciao.